and gentlemen, this is your host, Star Destroyer Gaming. You have not indeed been forsaken, as today my Warno fans are getting a special treat for the New Year's. We have a 10v10 battle breakdown here on Conquest mode on loop, so uh, this is a, pull your family around the warm campfire of Warno gameplay, and you can all see what happens when really just low-grade German armor goes up, East German armor goes up against the best that the West has to offer. Let's go ahead and speed things up here until I leisurely, get my guys onto the field here. We're going to be fighting in this central sector. As you can see, we've got our guys start coming in. And this is one of my favorite things to do here on loop is get some just shit, medium tanks basically, light tanks, and just cover these approaches right here and just lay fire right down into the town as my ally gets pushed out, because you can get a lot of points here and really support your ally. But if they're too good and they're pushing into the town, you're not very helpful anymore. So it's better to either develop this side or this side. I've done this side more commonly. And so you're going to see this area become a giant field for just huge tank versus tank dueling going on here. So we'll speed things up a little bit more. Match has started. Everybody's slowly moving their guys in. And I've just got a mix of, I've got no infantry almost. It's just all tanks pretty much. Let's speed things up a little bit more. We do have some reconnaissance here. I like to pop some recon here, get some AGTMs to cover this expanse as our allies here run into the town. Off they go. Got our special Aufklada. Want to control this forest. You always have the option of using tanks to shell across here if the enemy's advanced too far. And we're facing Georgy Zhukov Soviet here. This guy's really good. Like, whenever he comes onto the field, like, he's legit. He's legit. So you don't really want to mess with him. Well, I mean, if you do, it's good to have other players on your side. And you can just hope his attention's distracted somewhere else. So we are getting our AGTMs into position here, and this game, I'm just gonna spoil it. I was sure that like personally, I had very much lost all of my trades. I was like, that was terrible. Like, he's doing exactly what I did, getting scouts up here into the tree line, which is something that probably should have countered, but I did not bother to. Got some enemy air raids here, so very fierce central town fighting here. We've got our conquerors into place, but unfortunately, we're going to be surprised here. We're ready for this open terrain and ready for these M1HA Abrams, but there are French tanks that start pushing over the side here. And so right away, Russia's strongest Vatnik, we are in trouble. This guy's going to start to push. We'll lower the audio just a little bit more. That's kind of good. Okay. So we are sitting here, and we realize we've got Russia's strongest Vatnik, a veteran player, and then, Georgy Zhukov pushing us, and our two long-range things are down, and we've just got a ton of AA. So right off the bat, we totally lost this central section here. I'm pushing up these tanks to give our guys some support. I think this guy gets off a side round, but recon is gone. I mean, this is they've got recon moving up really far. I mean, this is a terrible situation here. We do get a chaparral, which is kind of nice. We maybe get another one. Oh, it started to move. If that tank hadn't moved, we probably could have gotten that round off. Well, anyways, fortunately, Royal War is getting some infantry up into these woods here, but, I mean, situation right off the bat is not looking too hot here. We've got our tanks that are giving some fire support on this side. I should have watched for hostiles in this sector. Russia's strongest Vatnik has got these French forces here pushing up on our flank, and right off the bat, I'm like, oh man, we're in trouble. So I just leave my armor down here. I'm like, we're gonna get overrun, so I'm just like, just stay back. Don't try to go up and match them. When they come over this lip, there's a whole sector of guys facing them, so I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, let our guys handle it down here, and we'll let the enemy just keep building up their forces as we just simultaneously struggle to get enough troops. We do have somebody here, Screaming Emu, just pounding, absolutely pounding the town with a huge artillery pool. Okay, and so at this point, I can't bring up you know, AGTMs against M1 Abrams when they're that close. Like, they're already in range, so we're already in trouble. So we're just trying to get our infantry up along the sides here. There's also a unit of French tanks, so I'm just trying to push up my tanks here, taking some cluster fire here that we pulled back from a little too late. And our T-72s with 18 pen and 12 frontal armor are pretty good, but I mean they're not enough to take on M1HA Abrams by any means. So we just trade fire here for a minute. I'm waiting for him to push up into the range of this T-72. We knock out that one's engine, nice. That one, they pop smoke because of Roy War's long-range AT here. And I'm not sensing any weakness. We pull up these AM2s here, just reinforced armored T-55s. I'm happy that Russia's strongest back and is rushing tanks at me, so I can take them out rather than have my tanks do it, but there's so many that we're actually kind of getting overrun here. We're actually kind of in trouble. But we get some side firing from the tanks. We keep just firing RPG-7s. There we go, knock out those. And now I'm like, okay, what do we have here? The T-55 AMB-2 is just an armored, it's got 10 frontal armor, so decent armor. Just an armored AGTM carrier that can take a hit, sometimes. But in this case, it gets knocked out. This guy I'm pushing, I realize he doesn't even have enough frontal pen to knock out the 20 front armor, so he's just a meat shield for these Cobras as they come in. I'm desperately trying to knock out these. There you go, that's a nice kill. Desperately trying to kill that M1 Abrams here. Come on, it's like, let's go, let's go. Cobra entered the wrong town. That thing's engine's still knocked out. It moved up the Hempt, I think, to support it. Anyway, we finally knocked that out after extended fire. Now we've got to pin down M1HA. We've got two CV-72s engaging it, and this. I push this up again, realize, okay, this does not have the capability to penetrate, but at least it kind of distracts that tank while the T-72 gets another couple rounds off. There we go, knocking into our tank there. This thing is just absolutely soaking up rounds. I'm just rushing more tanks at it. Like, these M1 Abrams are just insane. I'm only survived because they're still... There we go, finally we knock it out. And I try to get another round off here, but no purpose in that. So, we pop smoke. T-70, the base T-72 is an awesome tank. 100 points, stupid cheap. It's got 18 pen. I honestly love the T-72 in game. It's a great tank. And then we got these. I realized my Conquerors wouldn't last up here, so I'm like, well, when we're ready for AGTMs, we'll throw these up here. Abrams are moving across the front. I'm like, okay, maybe we can get a side shot, because Radio Show is just kind of plowing in where he doesn't really belong. I don't know why I don't pull this guy back. Anyway, we do get a hit on him. They get a hit on us. We're trying to ambush here from multiple sides, but there we go, get a side shot in with the T-55. Again, I actually like this tank a lot. I mean, it's garbage, but it's really cheap, so I actually like to use it. You can get some sneaky kills with them. All American tanks are just heavily armored, so as you can see, it takes fire from all these angles to try to bring down these things, because they're so strong. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I know we don't have the anti-tank missiles ready, but we're just going to try to engage because I feel like we can hit those. Yeah, those M60s. M60s are not very good tanks. I mean, they're just... Yeah, M60s are just not good. So, I'm comfortable engaging with this armor here. Just, again, you can see, never pushing out from the tree line. I'm never bothering to push around here or do anything fancy. I'm just trying to get control of this sector here, and I keep a couple tanks here. Usually I try to bump up and surprise them, you know. So this is the first time where I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe we have a decent situation. We've got AGTM set up. We're moving up our infantry. But unfortunately, Russia's strongest Vacnet comes in with their long-range cannons and absolutely shreds our AGTM. So again, we're back to square one. Enemy's got armor dominance. Huge enemy air attacks going on above us. And we've got we're back to a single damage T-72. That is it. Reinforcement-wise, I start moving up some BMPs and some these T-72 M1s are the best things these German deck has. That being said, they've only got the same main gun, just like 3 more frontal armor. we got the BMPs to get some long-range HGMs from them, and then the infantry to go here. But honestly, that was just not a winning move because they're really pushing us hard now. They've got French, again, the French and American armor combo is pushing hard. Our Aufklade just get wiped out. This guy's got only 1 round for us RPGs left. And now we've got no tanks. We have 3 AA guns, and they are pushing right up to the lip. To go ahead and see what they can do here. Fortunately, there's just a ton of random troops here that can fire HTMs and whatnot, but this is rich territory. They've got AA to shoot, they've got mortars, I mean, hard to resist. And at this point, the bridge becomes a scene of action as we try to push across the bridge. It's always awkward to fight on the bridge because your tank's going to try to get to the front, but then tanks will push it aside, so this was really a bad situation here. And then we got our BMPs coming up from behind as well, so totally clusterfucked, like everyone's stuck together. There's tanks getting hit. I just smoke everything and I'm like, just go, like, I have all my BMPs on load. One of our vehicles is already knocked out. I have everything on load, all the infantry. I'm like, just run across the bridge, try to survive. We're firing long-range AUTMs at these A30s, but there goes another T-72M, our other one. Our BMPs are just getting knocked out just over and over and over. It is an absolute slaughter fest here, and these tanks are not even in range, so I'm struggling to get reinforcements across. We have our other T-72 though across, and I'm a coffer. This is the right move, putting helis up here. When they push across the shelf, this heli is on that shelf level, as you can see, so it's got the perfect line of sight. So that was a great move on his part, and that kind of drives them off to a degree. It gives us some time to get unparalyzed and get us moving. Roywar as well, with the Akulas, like unsung hero. I know that helicopter players are annoying, but at least they force back the armor player, so you can kind of get into position. Unfortunately, Zhukov's wasted no time here and has properly moved infantry into these woods, so I can't just freely reacquire it. And for some reason, there's an Akasai just firing right from the tree line there. Look, total traffic jam. There we go, we just get across. Looks like some of the vehicles despawned, which is fortunate, because there was no way we would have made it across otherwise. Okay, and out we go. The infantry push, only 2 units of infantry. Yeah, we got our infantry up, but our tanks are dead. Our 2 of our 3 BMPs are knocked out, 1 of our 2 T-72s, so we're just struggling to get reinforcements up. We got more T-72s coming. We got some BMPs with Conkers in them, and we got more T-55s coming up from the rear as Screaming Emu just pounds enemy positions with just a never-ending artillery barrage that is questionably effective, but, I mean, at least it's something. There we go. So, we're having trouble. We're getting rebuffed here. The long-range scouts are putting up an effective defense. Our tank goes down trying to fight this Abrams here. Yeah, Russia's strong as Vatnik. Whatever forces here are just not having a good time, obviously. But I'm confident that if we push our guys up here, we can get off some of our AT rounds into the tanks. I'm confident that we might have a decent time. And I'm putting my tanks kind of right here, because at this point I've accepted that we're not going to take this right away, and I'm like, let's just line armor right here and engage as they come over the lip of the canyon. And I'm thinking maybe we can get some side shots in with our RPG 18s here that our infantry are using. As they push up, these engineers get shredded as they cross open ground coming out of an artillery barrage. Not that there was really anywhere else for them to go, but triple MG team, 9 PKMs raining down on them, takes care of them pretty quickly. And Roywar here and General West are doing a decent job in the town. It's an absolute moonscape here. I mean, everything is destroyed. And you get this normal situation where it's like World War I, where there's a big gap in between your lines because everything between is just destroyed. Okay, and enemy's got a big advantage here. Looking at other parts of the map, I mean, things look kind of even, you know, but, I mean, they're not. They've got the income tick, and we've got no defenses here, which is kind of bad. Anyways. So, we've got our infantry in the woods. I'm trying to get away from the Abrams. The Abrams has got the triple MGs, you know, so, or the double MG, the heavy 50 cal, and then the hull machine gun. So, this giant artillery barrage. Fortunately, is kind of driving them back, but yeah, we lose our T-72s in close range, another T-72, they're in close range fighting. I feel like I'm not having much of an effect. It'd be really great if I could break out and knock out like this juicy AA, but they just keep pouring tanks onto the field. So, I'm getting my guys ready. And at this point, I noticed that Karma is starting to load up on 262Ms. These are like just pure gunfighter tanks. They got the U5TS 150mm gun. Pretty cheap, probably worth the price. And he's starting to mass those. He's going to have more of those coming. Here they come, T-62s coming up. And they're going to see if they're going to theme as he masses them along this bank here. The enemy here is strong, but now that we put our guys in defensive positions here and here, they're not strong enough to push over the lip, because when they push over, they don't have recon, and it's just total target saturation. I mean, they see everything at once, you know, so good situation for us. We're going to try to get that kill with the T-55. Doesn't work because he smokes. Both Russia's strongest Vatnik and Zhukov are very adept with the smoking. Definitely helps them out a lot. Artillery fire is doing a number on their AA, but that's not really what's making the difference here in this situation. So off we go. If they had artillery this or this, we would have been in trouble, but they went full armor. So we're just have a random collection of tanks here that we're massing. Again, we got M1HAs moving up here. Fortunately, the Mi-24 is putting in some work here. Again, it forces the enemy to pull back, and so we have the cover, and all these T-62s show up. So at this point, I'm kind of realizing, like, okay, he's planning to just barrel all of these tanks over the edge and just take them out with sheer force of numbers, which I'm, like, totally here for. So, you know, I'm just waiting on that because, and then that was right here, some troops. I forgot why we have recon here, but they are allies, they're angels, kind of holding this sector and doing it pretty well. So unfortunate that he left, but fortunately the enemy isn't really able to push across this, even against an AI. It's too hard. Okay, and we got our Conquer shooting up, and there go the T-62s. I wish that they had kind of coordinated with us, because I didn't know when they were gonna push. They weren't really informing me. And I've got my own tanks. As usual, just a constant stream of tanks. At this point, we're almost out. So I've just got flamethrower T-55s and my last T-72M1 pushing up to the front. Because I realize this guy's got a force of tanks. I should bring up another big group as well. And you know, I say that the best counter to American armor, or the best counter to like Soviet medium armor is like NATO heavy armor, Leopards, Challengers, M1HAs. Good cluster there by Screaming Emu, giving support not just from artillery, but from other means as well, so pretty nice. I don't know how much it actually destroyed, but, you know, it kind of forced it back. And we've got our other reinforcements here moving up. The enemy is constantly probing. They're not letting me rest, you know, they're not saying, oh, well, we're good, we're gonna wait. No, they keep pushing. And something as strong as an Abrams here, I'm in serious trouble. I'm just trying to get the two-man squad, which should usually be repairing up, to get one RPG off. That's all I can expect to get, as they are just cutting me apart here. And so I'm hoping, maybe if I push up, I can just force them to retreat, you know? I don't really know what kind of things that we're going to be able to get out of this current situation. What do we have coming up here? Yep, just some more supply units. Up we go, although we do have supply here already. I think I'm trying to get him around on the side. So enemy once again has full control here of this plateau, and I'm waiting for him to boil over so I can just push all my tanks over, although for now I'm kind of getting him into... The M1HA here kind of spooked me, so I wanted to get into a defensive ring here. So I'm just waiting on that. I've got these Flampanzer TOW-55s ready to just drive right up over the lip. Yeah, I say when attack. I've got these ready to go up after him here, and I've got, you know, a small collection of tanks that I've been husbanding, kind of sort of ready to go, you know. And unfortunately, I don't believe Karma ever actually answers, so that is unfortunate. It's always better to have more coordination rather than less. So let's go to the neutral view here really quick. So this is the bulk of Zhukov's forces. He's got a couple of great tanks and recon and support units, and then more coming up from the rear. And they've got great, his recon's right here, great position, great recon position here. Well, actually not very good, but he tried. But he's just moving his armored battle group back and forth, back and forth. This is what we're trying to kill the whole time. So here we go, more infantry. Again, goal is to retake the woods, retake this side. Now they're getting on it with the artillery. Now they're starting to pound our positions, which is getting kind of annoying. I really like the MTLB Moons and the M1A3 APC supply trucks. They're pretty nice vehicles, just because, I mean, they take a while to get to the front, but, I mean, they're armored. They won't die instantly to artillery. It's pretty useful. So now we're almost at the end of the game here. We're trading fires. They push up over the top. Just even our best tanks are no match, but then boom, Karma comes ripping over the top. Absolutely amazing, you know, and this is perfect because now our infantry are ready to go, and I'm like, I just select everybody in attack move. Just they are all going up in one giant wave. Unfortunately, that's also right when Karma's taking some losses and he just has to pull back. So I need to moderate my advance a little, especially these going over the top would just get wrecked. I'm hoping that all these infantry here will kill the armor with their, like, rush it with their AT. But we're taking plenty of losses on our advance as well. Okay, looks like we got artillery coming in here. Knocked out the Abrams. So they're gonna. I'm retreating when he's coming up because I didn't realize when he was gonna stop. So anyway, we fan out. I'm just looking for targets. You know, we've got no recon out, and so I'm really paranoid about AGTMs and other things opening up. I was sure he had follow-on reinforcements, so I kind of pulled back. You know, just because it wasn't really worth it. And then I realized that I had underutilized one of the most important units for just rushing, and that's like the recoilless rifle jeeps that are really cheap. You know. Because you're not expecting to take any return fire, you're expecting just to nail whatever it is and retreat, so. Yeah, Karma's like, oh, I'm moving these Flampanzers through the town here. I'm trying to give some support because I can see the enemy has pushed back significantly here. And then I'm moving up these tanks here. This is I'm moving up my Strela to support them. I can see there's a decent enemy defensive line here that I don't think we can't take a tree line that's defended with AGTMs like this. So I just focus on getting up our own AGTMs and AA to kind of get that more long-range cover. And I move our tanks over because I'm hoping to get some flanking fire onto Yuka's forces because I don't want us to get pushed on this flank. Oh, it turns out to be an unfounded fear. And here we go. We've got more enemy armor pushing up here. Our Strela is just rolling, you know, gets knocked out instantly. Our Flampanzers are caught up in the town fighting here. There goes Karma again with his AGTM equipped tanks. Oh, nice. Actually putting on direct fire. Very nice. I think I kind of take the enemy by surprise here, rushing up on their side, because I'm able to get some good fire into their supporting assets, and they don't seem ready. But nevertheless, the French tanks are like these glass cannons, but they've got good penetration, so they're really actually pretty decent at taking out this armor here. So, you know, looking at everything, we managed to get our Conquerors up. We have BMPs that these are only gun armed, you know, and a single damage tank. So once again, we used up literally everything in our like push here, and I think we're actually out of AA, which is kind of unfortunate. So now we've got a nice AGTM line. It's enough to kind of push back, you know, the enemy as they attempt to advance on us. Enemy tick has been reduced to 1, which is kind of cool. And here you can see I just roll up SPG-9s because I'm anticipating another big armored push back to us. And so I'm like, when that happens, I can just roll SPGs up onto the side here and just do work, like 100%. Interesting sacrifice, I guess, of the Beruska. Although the tank doesn't even get it. I think it's the AGTM is actually, I think it knocks it out there. And no heli kill. Better to do it with the missile chopper. There we go. We do have an M1HA here that our BMPs are valiantly attempting to engage with their terrible 73mm gun. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe I'm moving my infantry, but then I say no because these helicopters and this armor would rip me apart on the crossing. Fortunately, we do get a shot in as that M1HA retreats. There's probably a small pocket of enemies in the woods here. So now we're in the kind of the final sections of the game here. We have regained our defensive positions here. I want to get recon up, and I'd love to take this right here. Our AA was all destroyed, so the helicopters are kind of running rampant. So we should have gotten, yeah, here we have some Streelers coming up a little bit tardily to deal with this helicopter clump that's just being really annoying here. So, you know, we just wait, and Screaming Emu just is not paying attention. It's got Conquer sitting out in the open. Who knows why? And, yeah, we're like, yeah, just get all the SPGs together, because these have 14 damage. So for 30 points, you get the same damage as, like, a regular T-55, basically. And if a T-55 gets hit by an M1, or this, doesn't matter. They're both going down. So you might as well use the cheaper thing and get a higher trade, you know, value. Because the point is just target saturation, rolling troops up, not kill them with superior means. So, you know. Anyways, this is finally the position I've been trying to get to all game, where we can do a nice, long-range AGTM duel that kind of favors us, you know. Looks like we kicked this guy out. We have the tick here, so this is a great game because I love it. And then in the last minute, the team rallies because you're just holding on to victory by like a sliver, you know, and you're trying just like not to lose. We rush all the SPGs out here because I know the French light armor will only take one hit from these guns, and so I'm like, maybe we can get some good trades. Which unfortunately does not materialize that way, but that's okay. Yep, there you go. They start to get knocked out. I realize that you can't really push these things that easily, so we'll content ourselves with balling up our SPGs out here. We got a +4 tick, which is absolutely goated here, because we've advanced all the way up through here. Who knows how? And we're actually advancing into their sector here. We drag in a, you know, a CV there, so pretty cool. I'm just doing as much as I can. I know this isn't a zone, but I'm occupying 3 players, you know, to varying degrees, 4 players to varying degrees, and so the more they focus on this and the less they focus on this, the better, in my opinion. Although here, Russia's strongest Vatnik has kind of realized what's going on, and that he should redeployed here, because he's like, we can't take the plane, this is what's important. We've got a +6 tick, which is absolutely based. And I'm moving all my SPGs up right here, just to, I think actually to support right here, because I decided that's what's more important. Screaming Emu is not even hunting his Conquers. Oh yeah, he's hunting his Conquers forward, or something. Who knows? I guess he's hunting them forward. Very mysterious. I'm a little pinned here because I can't use this blob of infantry up into this forest because I know there's guys here and those Cobras would take me apart. Although this recon here was great. I'm really happy I was able to get this here. So we just clump up here basically, and I'm waiting on repairs to come in to my T-72M1 because those are things that are actually kind of worthwhile. And then here I just rush the enemy lines with SPGs to no effect. Because they have AGTMs, and these are good against French tanks, but the British tanks up there, these SPGs are not getting through that armor. So anyways, we hold here, speed things up just a tad, up we go. Very little action here. I'm trying to build up my forces because I'm anticipating another attack, and I'd like to take this section of woods here to get fire down onto this zone and over here. But unfortunately, the game doesn't quite last that long, so we're just going to speed it up here. We're just continually funneling reinforcements. Screaming Emu is moving another giant swarm of T-62s up, which is absolutely awesome. I'm just waiting for him to just go off again, you know. Oh, that was nice. Almost one more hit. And we're ready here. We push up our infantry. Get to the woods, not taking any significant fire. I move up this armor here to try to get some fire to support the infantry. But at this point, the game is now pretty much over, despite a really strong, really valiant effort on the part of our team. Karma's moving to T-62s. I'm like, just move the UAZs, like just saturate the enemy so T-62s can get kills. Like, doesn't even matter at this point. And with that, we're just gonna run out the clock here, right as we were trying to get the whole game, which was this pocket of woods. We've been trying to get this the entire game, and now we finally have it. And I'm ready to ambush this when the time finally runs out. So that was just a great game. Huge back and forth. I was really surprised looking at the totals that we got almost double, you know, 6,300, 6,400 to 3,400 kills. That's pretty good in my opinion. I loved the back and forth nature of that engagement. That was absolutely insane. And I was convinced that we had suffered a lot worse. And I was glad to see that we actually came out kind of on top, because I was just like throwing units in. And part of that has got to be because like you can't underestimate like just how cheap the East German armor is and how expensive NATO armor is. Like just things like this, where the motor shows take out 2 AMX-30s, you know, that's awesome. This M1 nailed 2 Abrams. Now, it was a help from a lot of different quarters, but I mean, you know, things like this are what make the game. You know, your tanks operating in conjunction, the Season 2 taking out an HA. Pretty much every tank knocked out something that was more valuable than it, you know, which is really great to see. And even this T-55A, right? Two chaparrals, you know, and an infantry and multiple trucks, you know. These tanks, if they're cheap enough, will really quickly pay themselves back. Paid back more than enough. More than paid back. Bradley, Chaparral, and AMX-30, you know. T-55 taking out this, more than enough. More than enough. I mean, good kills here, good kills. And so that's how we got the win. Not with one unit destroying dozens, but with cheap units destroying one or two valuable allied units. Although, obviously, they took our toll on us, you know. You can see all the T-55s knocked out, which were just beautiful meats. Our T-72s could actually get kills now that I think about it, you know. I mean, these guys, you know, obviously, they got some decent kills in here, but we were able to overrun it with numbers and just make them take trades they didn't want to take. So that was a really fun game. Just the intense fighting on top of the plateau, the back and forth, the like rushing tanks right up into each other, and kind of being on the back foot for almost the whole game until we got pushed back. And Georgy Zhukov's Soviet Hero takes a very unfavorable trade here, which is good for us. Although, I mean, he's a good player. I'm just glad that we were able to encounter each other there on the field. And Russia's strongest Vatnik does a little better. Our other main opponent. So yeah, definitely a great game. I hope that you guys enjoyed this game of the week here. I know it's been a while. I'm waiting for new Warno content, but I decided that to my most loyal Warno fan base, I wanted to drop a game of the week so that you guys could watch and just have something to enjoy over the holidays. So gather the family around the warm Warno campfire and warm yourself in the light of the combined arms warfare and enjoy your new year, everybody. That's all for today. This is your host, Stardust Gaming, signing off.